welcome to Sports Unfolded. However and whenever you may be tuning in, I thank you. I'm joined by Taylor Huffman to my left, Eli Murphy to my right.
Yes, sir.
I am Strong Beverly. We have a busy slate, but first, we have a wonderful sponsor. Sports Unfolded is brought to you by Volta Wireless, the mobile provider that empowers you to take back your privacy. Try Volta and get fast, reliable 5G service with unlimited talk, text, and high-speed data worldwide, plus everything you need to take back your privacy, including encrypted communications, secure web browsing, safe mobile payments. All just for $29.99 a month. That's less than your mobile service alone costs. And with Volta, no one will be able to track your identity, location, communications, internet activity, financial transactions, and more. Learn more at voltawireless.com. That's VOLTA wireless.com. Try Volta today. We are back. It's been a very busy weekend in essentially every sport that we're going to talk about here today. NFL is crazy. That Monday night game last night, I don't think anybody expected that.
No.
Shocking.
Was not as crazy as week 9, in at least my opinion, but NFL's been all over the place this week, so we're going to start off with that. Y'all got any comments before we get into our power rankings?
You know, I think we should just hop right into it.
All right, let's do just that. So we're going to go through our top 10 teams, and we're going to show mine first. As y'all can see, for the second week in a row, I'm very high on this team. They are not. We'll get to that in a minute. The Green Bay Packers, all right? This is the first time that I've seen a Green Bay Packer defense like this in 10 years. This is the best Green Bay Packer defense in 10 years since 2011, right? In 2011, what did they do? Oh, they just won the Super Bowl. That was Aaron Rodgers just wondering. In 2011, this is the only time that he has a championship defense, and now the defense is back to that standard. Number 2, I have Tennessee, all right? 7 of their 8 wins, it's through 10 weeks.
Yeah.
No, 7 of their 8 wins, my bad,
No, you're good.
have come against teams that made the playoffs last year, right? Very impressive wins. They're a team that I did not expect to do good this year. They've proved me wrong. 3, I have Dallas. We can just scratch the tape from that Denver game. That is not Dallas. Everyone played horribly. They might disagree with me. But at the end of the day, the Cowboys are talented at really every position. Maybe a little bias here, but I have Dallas at 3. 4, I have Arizona. We saw how meaningful DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray are to that team. But, you know, when you take a pouncing like that to a Carolina team that's sub 500, you got to drop them a little bit. So I dropped them to 4. 5, I have the Rams. As bad as they've looked throughout the past 2 weeks against Tennessee and last night against San Fran, I kept them at 5 just purely due to their raw talent. I mean, this is a team that's going all out this year. Aggressiveness wins championships in 2021. They've been aggressive, just getting Von Miller and OBJ, who haven't got much reps or, you know, any really meaningful snaps or contribution to the Rams team at this point. But you can tell that they are on a mission to win a championship this year. Their first pick in 2022 is in the 5th round. That says everything.
Wow, really?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm with you.
God.
Their raw talent's ridiculous.
They've signed
Can't drop
everyone.
too
Speaking
much.
of raw talent, we saw the same thing with Tampa Bay last year. They were extremely aggressive, and we're seeing that same roster. Tampa Bay, I have them at 6. They're not clicking right now. Tom Brady's favorite target, Rob Gronkowski's out. Their leading receiver before he got hurt, Antonio Brown, is out. They're nursing some injuries in the secondary, but when they're back, I guarantee you they will be contending for a championship like they were last year. Let's not freak out over this loss against Washington. However, Washington's defense has been one of the worst this year, especially in the passing game, and they intercepted Brady twice. Not a good look for Tampa Bay, but can't overreact to one game, right? Yeah. 7, I have New England. They're doing everything that Bill Belichick teams do. They don't turn the ball over. They run the ball efficiently. They play good defense. Mac Jones is efficient enough. He's looking like a top half quarterback in this league. They're playing efficient enough to really contend in this AFC. As much of a mess it's been this year. Patriots at 7. 8, I have Bills, a spot behind the Patriots. I actually leapfrogged the Patriots over the Bills, as you can see. The Bills are just too inconsistent for me. They just absolutely destroyed the Jets, but Again, a week ago they lost to the Jaguars and they couldn't score a single touchdown. 9, I have Kansas City. This is a team that I told you all a few weeks ago they would be a team that against Green Bay, that would be the turnaround in their season. And now they're looking like they were in 2019 and 2020. This is a team that if they continue to win in this fashion, I can have them in my top 3 perhaps in a few weeks. And then 10, I have Baltimore. Same reasons with Buffalo, just too inconsistent. Taylor?
Well, I heavily disagree with you on a lot of these, except for the Cowboys.
Expected.
Cowboys,
Okay.
Ravens, and Chiefs. I like where you put them. But I have the Titans at 1. And there's a lot of momentum coming behind this Titans team. This Titans team lost Derrick Henry, and then they shocked the world on Sunday Night Football.
Agreed.
They're angry,
Destroyed the Rams, and then come back and beat the Saints. I mean, I think that this Titans team without Derrick, they have a fire under them. Like you said, they're angry, Eli. They're angry.
Yeah.
They are this is a pissed off football team that lost their best player, lost their star.
They don't have Julio either.
And they don't have Julio, and now
Adrian Peterson.
Now they're just we've seen Tannehill play some great games. We've seen Tannehill play some great games down the stretch. Mm-hmm. And now I think this team they're ready to go to a Super Bowl as it looks right now. If they keep playing their defense how it is. Now, I have 2 at the Cardinals. Now, I know everyone's freaking out about the Cardinals over what they did this past week, but you got to remember they had Colt McCoy. They had Colt McCoy playing quarterback. They didn't have their best receiver and arguably the best receiver in the NFL.
They're missing their running back too.
They are missing Chase Edmonds too.
Yeah.
This Cardinals team is going to be just fine. Look. Yeah. They didn't have Kyler. They didn't have the MVP favorite right now, Kyler. They didn't drop it. They only dropped a spot in my power rankings. I have the Cowboys at 3. I agree with Strong, and they just had an off week. But I have the Bills at 4, and I don't know how. After the Bills had one bad week, they had one bad week. Well, 2 bad weeks. 2 bad weeks.
Yeah.
Then they come back, and I know it's the Jets, but they absolutely stomped the Jets. I mean, that game, they just absolutely torched them. Their offense is back.
Can I remind
They're
you
looking
something?
good.
I just want to remind you, it's the Jets.
I don't care that it's the Jets. I don't care. But it's a momentum building game. You need those in the NFL.
Hey, I'll respect that because my Cowboys got one against Atlanta.
Exactly. Atlanta sucks. So does the Jets. You need those type of wins.
How about the Broncos?
And this is what me and Strong have. This is the debate. I have the Packers at 5. Now look, it's nothing that they've shown. It's the schedule. They haven't played anyone. They've only had 1 or 2 challenging games this whole year. The rest of the games on their schedule have been just little free cupcakes, and they have never really had a challenge this year. And down the stretch, we're gonna see they're gonna play good teams, and they're gonna start to lose.
I'm a play the 5th because we have a whole segment that we're gonna talk about this debate, but just want to let you know I'm ready. I'm ready to defend these Packers.
Well, I do. After that Monday night tragedy, the Rams 6. That was awful. That was maybe one of the worst performances I've seen a team with this type of skill have in my life. That was terrible. Rams at 6, drop all the way from I believe I had them at 2 or 3 last week. If they continue this, they're not even going to be in my top 10. But just because if this were any other team, they'd be sitting at 10 or outside of my top 10. But due to, like Strong said, the sheer talent of the Rams.
Raw talent.
Yeah, they still hold that 6 spot. Bucks at 7 struggled this week. Struggled the past few weeks. They're dropping here. I had them at 1 at one point this year. But the Bucks really struggling here. Brady's got to find his groove again. Threw 2 picks against a terrible Washington defense secondary. Patriots at 8. Bill Belichick, that whole team coming into form. Mac Jones starting to look good. Patriots at 8. Chiefs at 9. Chiefs also starting to come around. See, Patriots, just to go back to the Patriots real quick. I don't know how you put the Patriots above the Bills.
Consistency.
But the Bills are a way better team than the Patriots, and they will show it week 13, week 16 when they play. Anyway, 9 Chiefs. It's the Chiefs. They're starting to play ball.
Yep.
Weren't in the top 10 for me last week. They're starting to play ball. Finally, we're seeing that Chiefs team we saw last year dropped a 41 bomb on the Raiders on Sunday Night Football.
5 touchdowns.
Mahomes finally starting to play some ball.
410 yards, no picks.
They get Clyde back. This week. They're gonna be fine. Ravens at 10. This is big. Ravens at 3 last week played atrocious against Miami, plummeting.
Eli.
Big facts. All right, so my first one, I have the Cardinals. Like Taylor said, they've been really injury prone with Hopkins and Kyler. Kyler's one of the MVP favorites. He's their best player. Colt McCoy he just doesn't stand to Kyler Murray. So I really think that team will be a lot better whenever Kyler's back. And then for my second team, I have the Bucs. I really like this Bucs team. I think it's really good with Tom Brady, and I mean you can't really bet against the GOAT. He's the greatest of all time. Their offense will get a lot better. I think this team is really good.
Well, you're right, but
I know they lost.
We also got to speak on the current circumstances.
What?
I know.
I mean, at the end of the year they may be, but we got to have a little recency bias, right? That's what we're all about when we talk sports. It's all about that recency bias.
I know we're about recency bias, but
how are they at 2? Yeah, and how are the Cardinals at 1 after last week?
Dog, I do not, because they had Colt McCoy, Taylor.
That's fair.
They had Colt McCoy.
Okay, I can see that, but the Bucs have played awful.
The Cardinals are still 8-2. That's the same rank as the Packers in a harder division. And with Colt McCoy.
The Bucs aren't 8-2.
No, not the Bucs. I'm talking about the Cardinals.
Okay, I'm not talking the Bucs. The Bucs, yeah. Really?
Yes.
Really?
The Bucs.
Why
yes.
The Bucs at 2?
I don't care. Okay.
Listen,
you will see.
Listen, if you're going by the end of the year, yes, the Bucs could be the best team at the end of the year. I think there's a great chance they're lifting the Lombardi in February, but
okay,
right now after week 10,
I know they just lost, but I still think they're a great team. Okay.
All right.
I think they'll be good.
Let's move on.
And then number 3, I have Green Bay. So Green Bay, they've had a couple losses, but one of them was with Jordan Love.
Amen.
He's just
doesn't really count.
Jordan kind of sucks. Let's be real. So
Yep.
Green Bay. I don't count one of their losses, but like Taylor said, their strength of schedule is horrible. They haven't played hardly anyone. It's just been an easy schedule. Until they can prove something, I don't find this team a top 2 team. And number 4, I have the Titans. This team has a chip on their shoulder. They're really good without Derrick Henry. And Derrick Henry was one of the MVP candidates, and their team's just still so good. That defense has played so well over the past few games. I like them at number 4. And then number 5, I have the Rams. I think the Rams they're just built off raw talent. With them signing free agents like Von Miller and OBJ, even if they lose Robert Woods as their wide receiver too, I really like Odell to fill a spot, and I think this team is really good with the Sean McVay offense. It's a hard team to beat. And then my number 6 team is the Bills. So the Bills just look so good last Sunday
against the New York Jets.
I know they're the New York Jets, but they absolutely smoked them. It wasn't even close. I think they put up, what was it, 45? Something like that?
Yep.
Yeah.
45-17.
45-17.
And all the Jets' points came in garbage time.
Exactly. All of it was in garbage time. That shows their defense, their offense, and they're going on the right track. That's a big bounce back game for two tough games before that. And then for my 7th team, I have the Cowboys. I know people are mad at me for putting the Cowboys.
That's rough.
Pretty low.
That's rough.
Yes, they did just smoke my Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, this is the worst. This is maybe the worst power rankings I've ever
Dude,
seen. This is terrible.
It's not that bad, bro. I don't care. I mean, I have faith in the Cowboys.
You do,
but I don't think they're quite there yet. I don't think they're quite there yet. They're just not quite. I want to see them after a couple more games because I know Dak.
You've seen him win 6 straight. I mean.
Dak had an injury, and I know he played bad against the Broncos, but I just want to see like 1 or 2 more games of them playing good, and then they'll be back up to probably top 5. They're a great team. Number 8, I have the Ravens. Wow, the Ravens really, really disappointed me, and I don't know. They just shut down. I had them pretty high up, but they just kind of whiffed. I don't know what it was, but I still think Lamar is.
It was the Dolphins D, baby. They're top 10 team in the NFL after next week.
All right, I said I like the recency bias, but like we gotta.
Hey, if they play like
we gotta
they
draw
did,
a fine line.
Hey, if they play like they did last week, they're number 1. So
you're right.
I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Let's.
I don't know about that one. I mean, that's like saying the Falcons could be top 10 after this week. Well, actually, they definitely can't. But so for my 8th team, I have I have the Ravens.
Yes, you.
And I know I said that. Okay, my bad.
Chiefs.
Okay, but my ninth team is the Chiefs, and so the Chiefs, they just had a great game against I'm losing my mind. Raiders, yeah, they had a good game against the Raiders. Patrick Mahomes bounced back. Their team looked really good.
I told y'all that Green Bay game was going to be the turning point in their season, and was I right or was I right?
It was.
And then y'all thought I was wrong.
10th.
I had to throw that out there.
It might be a surprise for the Patriots not to be on here, but I still like the Chargers. I think the Chargers they're just a great team. I really like Herbert. He played really rough. And they went down in my standings a lot, but I still think this team is a top 10 team right now with what they have right now.
Okay, so we've all gone through our power rankings. Taylor, you had Green Bay at 5. Is that correct?
Yep. Can't see.
I have a question for you. Do I need to buy you a new TV? Because I don't know if I'm watching the same football as you. I'm watching the Green Bay Packers that just shut out the Seattle Seahawks and Russell Wilson last Sunday. I don't know if you were watching that same game. Do you need a new TV so I can let you have the privilege of watching the Packers absolutely shut out teams?
Okay. But one thing I'm gonna say about this,
it was the Seahawks with Russ still having a freaking broken.
How about
hand.
this?
He wouldn't be playing.
I've never seen the Seahawks play that bad offense.
This is the same.
Never.
Thing.
Even with Gino.
No.
Like,
listen,
that was awful.
This is the same.
Green Bay has a.
This is the same situation when Dak came back and played the Broncos. That was the same thing that happened with Russ. He was out for I think 5 weeks, came back with a finger
That's not
injury.
true.
Yes, it is.
See,
it's the same thing.
When Dallas got embarrassed at their own home stadium against Denver, nobody played good that game. When the Seahawks played against Green Bay, their defense kept them in that game for 3 quarters, but the Packers have a championship defense. And Aaron Rodgers, you can say, okay, well, here's the thing. You say that Russell Wilson hadn't played in, 5 weeks? Well, Aaron Rodgers has just been critiqued by the media probably the most by any player in the past year. And he hasn't practiced in over 14 days, right? So you're coming off of that. That's pretty similar to having an injury like Russell Wilson did. At the end of the day, the Packers, without one of the best corners in the game, Zadarius Smith, one of their best defensive players, they how much points did Seattle put up? A goose egg, right? This is a championship defense. The last time the Packers had a defense this good, like I mentioned earlier, was 2011 when they won the Super Bowl. I don't know how you have them that low. And when you look at it, if Aaron Rodgers was vaccinated, this team would be 9-1. They would have beaten Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes had his worst statistical day in terms of yards per attempt.
I don't think we can assume that they'd win against the Chiefs.
No, because I feel like the Chiefs they would have played. Their level would have gone up.
I feel like everyone wants to give Aaron Rodgers their best shot, not Jordan Love. So I think they would have.
At the end of the day, they're still professionals, and they spend hours in the film room every day preparing, and they don't care who the other quarterback is because they're focused on going up against their defense. And you saw that Packers defense held Mahomes to under 4 yards per attempt or something ridiculous like that. But the Chiefs still won that game because number 12 wasn't back there commanding the Packers offense.
Look, all I'm saying is I need to see them prove it a couple more weeks because
that game against the Cardinals without their top 3 receivers, 2 of their best defensive players, the best left tackle in football, on prime time, and Aaron Rodgers goes out there and wins against an 8-0 Cardinals team, 7-0 Cardinals team. Is that not enough?
No.
No.
You know why?
What?
You know why? Because they've got to prove
What,
it.
do you want him to-
They've got to prove it week 12
Should
against
he
the
lose
Rams.
his number 4 and 5
If
receivers?
they beat the Rams week 12, I'll have faith in them. They can't prove it to me next week with the Vikings. The Vikings suck. Their defense is terrible. They can prove it if they beat the Rams week 12. I'm saying this Packers team, okay, they're the best team in football. But if they sit there and get blown out by the Rams, which I could very well see happening, they sit exactly where they sit in my power rankings. Because I'm yet to believe in this Packers team. You could say they passed the eye test, but they just don't for me. Like, it's just like I see an Aaron Rodgers he's great. He's great, obviously. It's Aaron Rodgers. But it's not the same Aaron Rodgers that we've seen in past years. He's not connecting in those downfield shots. The same way he has been. I can't imagine them being the best team in the NFL with all the talent the Rams have, the Cardinals have, the Bills
Cardinals
have.
that lost is
Cowboys. Your Cowgirls are even better than them.
They are. Cowboys are better.
The
than-
Cowgirls
I hope
are
y'all
the-
are right. That's for once I agree with you on that I hope you're right, but I'm not sure that's really agreeing with you because you're saying that Aaron Rodgers is taking a step back. Well, he has one of the best passer ratings in the NFL this year, and his touchdown to interception ratio is 17-4. And 2 of those interceptions came in week 1 at New Orleans in a game that's essentially a merge of the preseason, right? I don't even count week 1 as a regular season game for a lot of teams because it's just so inconsistent in week 1.
I think it's fair to say he's been very efficient, but he isn't the same Aaron Rodgers.
I don't see where you're getting that from. I mean, he's still throwing touchdowns even without his best, he had a near perfect game against Arizona without his 1, 2, and 3 receivers. Randall Cobb, who is a shell of what he was in his prime. Aaron Rodgers tossed him 2 touchdowns.
Let's say hypothetically, Devontae Adams goes down. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Aaron Rodgers has proved that he can beat the best team in the league on the road without him.
With Devontae Adams down.
Yes, he already did it.
It was
best team.
We saw it on national television. I don't know what else there is to
Devontae
say.
Adams was down for the Rams game. Or not?
Yes, I think he could win that game.
If he
No.
they're not the best team in the NFL. Look, like they're definitely top 5, 100% top 5. Cowboys better than them. Okay, Cardinals better than them.
No, we saw the head-to-head. I don't know what else to say there.
But you can say head-to-head all day, but sometimes
Cardinals were as healthy as they're gonna get, and the Packers were a shell of what they're gonna be in the postseason.
Okay, well, look.
And they still won.
You can say head-to-head, but then if you say head-to-head, that's saying that the Saints are better than them because the Saints beat the crap out of them. They beat them
What's the
30-3.
Saints' record? 5-4.
Yeah,
What's the Packers' record? 8-2. The transitive property does not work in sports. Okay, you can talk about this team beat this team. Okay, you want to bring up those hypotheticals? Okay. The Lions are the best team in the NFL. You can make that case. But that's not how it works in the NFL. Let me brag on this defense a little more. Here's a crazy stat.
Aaron Rodgers only put 7 points.
The past 3 quarterbacks this team has played, Kyler Murray, Patrick Mahomes, and Russell Wilson. Those quarterbacks have a combined 1 touchdown and 4 interceptions in the Packers' last 3 games defensively. And they've given up 11.3 points per game against these offenses. This is a championship defense. This is a championship offense. And even when they weren't healthy, they went into Arizona as heavy underdogs and knocked off the best team on national television, primetime, without half their roster.
Okay, I'll give them the Cardinals game.
Thank you.
Struggling.
I was looking for that.
A struggling Mahomes and a Russ coming off.
A struggling Mahomes that a week later put up 5 touchdowns and 410 yards and a perfect
anymore.
quarterback.
Now he's not struggling anymore. But
so does he just magically go to prime Mahomes in one week?
Yes. You know why?
It's
Because
an MVP.
Because listen to this. Mahomes struggled week 9, week 8, week 7. Mahomes has been struggling up to about this point this year.
I don't count the Mahomes game.
I don't count that game. Even
I don't count it as a loss. Do you count it as a loss?
Huh? Yeah, because their offense couldn't put more than 7 points.
Because Aaron Rodgers wasn't on the field. This is a quarterback league.
Okay, I'll give them the Cardinals win.
This is a league. The 5 best teams in the NFC are the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFC.
I have a
the
question.
5 best teams in the AFC.
I have a question.
Are the 5 best quarterbacks in the AFC.
Do you count the Broncos beating the Cowboys as a real game?
Absolutely, I do. I just think it was a game that Dallas didn't show up. It counts to our resume, but when you look at it, when you go into the postseason, is this a game that you're going to turn on the tape and go, hey, look at this game against the Broncos? That's what the Cowboys are.
Okay,
No,
that's
not
the
what
same
Cowboys
thing.
are.
That's the same thing with Russ and the Chiefs, because Russ was out with a 5-week finger injury, hadn't thrown a freaking ball, and now he's throwing it in a natural game.
Russ played
against
the worst game of his entire career that game.
Yes.
Awful. Russ was playing terrible.
Or is it the
That's
Packers'
the
defense?
only No, it's not the Packers.
How is it not the Packers'
Packers
defense?
defense gave up 22. They should have lost to Cincinnati. They didn't
Should have not
because
lost to
Cincinnati's
Cincinnati.
kicker choked. 22 to Cincinnati. Gave up 28 to San Francisco. 38 to the Saints. This defense.
Again, that was week 1.
Okay. And if it's a great defense,
It's part of the schedule.
Georgia's
you're
a
right,
great
but-
defense, and they gave up 3 points week 1.
Do you count?
Yeah, they are a great defense.
Do you count Green Bay's first game loss?
I mean, on the record, it has to. But when you look
Exactly.
at it, if you look at week 1, it's just inconsistency all over the place. Week 1 is literally a transition from the preseason
so
to the regular season. I mean, teams are a shell of themselves in the first week. I like to use that term because it's true.
Okay. How about this?
So can we say? I know it's not the preseason, but the Chiefs were in a slump. Can we call that?
That's what I was about to say.
a
Like the
shell
style.
of the Chiefs.
So are the Bills terrible because they lost to the Steelers in week 1?
The Chiefs are 6-4.
Are the Titans terrible because they lost to the Cardinals 38-13 in week 1?
Okay, the Cardinals are good. That I could actually see that happening.
Are the Dolphins beat the Patriots in week 1? Look at that now.
Yeah, I bet the Dolphins.
But
will
that
beat the
was
Patriots
with that
next
was.
week
I bet they don't.
or in a couple weeks.
I honestly think the Dolphins could have a chance to beat the Patriots if they play.
Hey,
them.
heck, Dolphins have a
they won't
chance to
sweep
beat
the Patriots.
anyone. You know
I think
why?
the
Because
Dolphins
they just beat
defense-
the crap out of the Ravens. Dolphins top 10 team after they beat the Jets this week. Easily.
All right.
Easily.
A little over the top with the recency bias.
But okay, the Chiefs. Look, the Chiefs are 6-4.
Yeah.
Okay? That's like saying the Chiefs don't have a chance to win the AFC. You saying that the Packers being 8-2 defines that they are a great team.
Oh yeah, they're 8-2. I mean, is 8-2 good or is it good?
It's
Is it good or is it great? I mean, when you look at it, if Aaron Rodgers had the COVID-19 vaccine, they would be 9-1.
Okay, but the difference is that they've played. It's like Clemson in college football. They play all these weak teams.
They
Weak
played
teams.
the Lions.
Yeah, the Arizona Cardinals
Lions,
suck,
the
man.
49ers. Okay, they've played
49ers.
the
Did you see what the 49ers
You know-
did to the Rams last
You
night?
want to see what they've done the rest of the year? Nothing. You want to see this? You want to see their schedule? All right, they lost to New Orleans. You want to hear their wins?
They blew out the Steelers with a winning record. They beat the Bengals on the road, winning record. Yeah,
Bengals aren't good.
Yeah, they're.
Chicago's not good. Washington's not good.
Or the
only
Cardinals.
good-
What about the
the
Cardinals?
only
The
good
Cardinals
win-
aren't good.
The only good win that Green Bay has is the Cardinals. All the other 7 of their
Blowing out
wins
the
are
Pittsburgh-
mediocre or bad teams.
Blowing out the Pittsburgh Steelers with a winning record.
I guess
I don't count winning record as a good team.
I can respect the Steelers, but that's not quality. Like that's not
Steelers, a team that
what
beat-
the Cardinals have done. The Cardinals have beat so many more quality teams than just Green Bay.
Green
It's just
Bay's
factual.
beaten one good team, and that's the Cardinals. I'm
It was
giving
the
that
Cardinals,
to
the
I'm
team
giving
that
it to
y'all
them.
are defending.
Their other 7 wins are Lions, 49ers.
Beat the Rams by 21 last night.
Okay.
Go on.
Pittsburgh.
Winning record.
Pittsburgh's garbage.
Winning record.
Cincinnati, garbage.
Winning record. Not garbage.
Chicago,
Y'all are defending.
garbage.
Y'all are defending them so much a few weeks ago.
Washington, and they've lost.
Washington that just
Washington,
beat Tampa.
trash.
Washington just beat
Arizona,
the
good win. Seattle, garbage.
Yeah, they shut them out. Seattle's a team that was expected to
And
make
it's
a playoff
not like they're
push with
blowing
Russell
these
Wilson.
teams out. They took the Bengals to overtime, beat the Bears, terrible team, by 10. Okay, they beat Washington by 2 scores. They beat the Cardinals by 3. They're a great team, obviously. I'm giving them that win. They had a good game this week, and their defense played good this week. Rodgers played bad. Rodgers played bad this week.
He did, but back to my point. Do I need to reiterate the stats about this crazy defense that is missing Jair Alexander and Zadarius Smith? Rodgers has the flexibility now to have games like this where he has no touchdowns and an interception and I think somewhere south of 200 yards, 250 yards, and still win games by 3 scores because that's what this defense does. This is the Packers defense that we haven't seen in all these missed runs that they've had where they've gone to the NFC Championship, and then it's like a brick wall. They just can't get past it. I think this is a good chance it's the year. I hope it's not as a Cowboys fan. But I'm just defending this team because this is a defense that now has the ability to lead Rodgers. And if Rodgers keeps doing what he's doing, plays a shell of himself last year, this is a team that can easily make a championship run. Rodgers has always had to be the guy to take the offense and prevail it over the defensive issues. Now that this front office has given him a great defense,
here, let me say
I don't see how this team's not a championship
contender. We're not saying they're not championship contenders. We're saying that they're not number one. That's what we're trying to get out. We're saying the Cardinals are a better team than Green Bay.
I just don't get it because at the end of the day, they played. We saw them before our eyes. I've said this a million times. The Packers beat a healthy Arizona Cardinals with all the momentum in the world, feeling great about themselves. Thursday Night Football, national television. No Devontae Adams, Allen Lazard, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, David Bakhtiari, Zadarius Smith, or Jair Alexander, and then some other starters on the offensive line. And they won on the road.
Washington beat the Bucs while the Bucs were completely healthy minus Antonio Brown.
And Rob Gronkowski and two starting corners.
Does that make Washington a better team?
No, because if Washington was, 6-3, I could say that.
So you're saying all that matters is their record.
Is Oregon better than Ohio State?
Yes.
Same record. Amen. That's what I'm saying. They had the
saying,
same record and they beat them.
Okay. But they beat them.
Without,
handily. They beat them
by
handily.
7 points, and they were out.
They beat them by 2 scores.
They won 35-28. It doesn't matter how much Green Bay won by because at the end of the day, they led for that entire game, I believe, except for the first quarter.
That doesn't mean anything, though. The game was a 3-point game.
And they won without...
That game could have gone either way.
They won without two of their best... They won without arguably the best receiver in the league and arguably the best corner in the league.
They won in a walk-off field goal against the 49ers. They won in a walk-off field goal against Cincinnati. They won by 3
I bet the Rams wish they could have...
They lost to the Chiefs.
But the Rams wish they could have taken a walk-off field goal against the 49ers.
Okay, well, we're not... The Rams collapsed, and that's different. But look...
How though?
More importantly, do the Chiefs have a legit chance?
All right, let's move on.
The AFC? Do they?
Yes, they do.
Winning the AFC in the playoffs? Or are we talking about winning?
Winning the AFC and prevailing to Super Bowl 56. The Kansas City Chiefs are right in the thick of it, and in a few weeks, I could put them as my favorites.
Yes.
Hear me out.
No.
I told y'all. Things couldn't get any worse for the Kansas City Chiefs when they were 3-4. Nothing. The worst historic defense on pace for in NFL history. Mahomes had turned the ball over 9 times in his first 6 games. Or that's just interceptions. He fumbled a few other times also. Andy Reid's too smart. Mahomes is too gifted. We've seen that defense.
Terrible.
It's
awful.
Not. It was so bad to start the year
that you knew bad.
It couldn't get any worse. Well, it's not bad. I mean, they gave up 7 points to Green Bay. And 14 to the Raiders.
Well, yeah, Green Bay had
Jordan Love, Green Bay.
Yeah,
okay, 14 points to the Raiders. At the end of the day,
without Henry Ruggs and a coach.
Yeah.
If Henry Ruggs and that coach were playing, that wouldn't have made up a 27-point defeat. Okay.
It wouldn't have. They still would have won, but the defense would have given up stuff. I'm just saying, I don't. The Chiefs don't have a defense to me right now that can win them a Super Bowl.
Well, they had a bottom half defense last year, and they made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and they lost. But the thing is,
2 years ago.
They had a decent defense.
Same exact defense
They've had a middle of the pack defense past 2 years. They have a bottom tier defense.
And now we're starting to see this offense heat up. They're not turning the ball over. 0 turnovers Sunday night.
We're
starting to see this team heat up, like I predicted 2 weeks ago.
If their offense puts up 41 a game, they're gonna win every game.
Yeah.
But they're not putting up 41 a game. Defenses, if they play a team like the Bills, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose to the Bills. Bills have the best defense in the NFL. Bills have, I'd say on a good day, arguably the best unit.
Mahomes is 3-1 against the Bills.
Okay, not this year.
But
this year they haven't played.
They have played. Buffalo destroyed them.
That's right. They played earlier this year. But the thing is, they play the Bills. They're gonna lose. Bills' defense is unreal. And Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and the crew can play freaking offense. They're a top 5 unit.
Yeah.
They're just so inconsistent. I mean, we saw them last year in the AFC Championship.
Yeah, and if they play again in the AFC Championship this year, you can't tell me that defense isn't at least going to settle that offense down. They were
I mean,
in
they
shambles.
already did this year.
They were in shambles at the Chiefs. They last year in the AFC Championship. They were in shambles. You put that game in Buffalo like I think it will be this year, Chiefs are losing that game, no doubt. Those Buffalo fans are going to be insane. The defense is going to be hyped up. They're going to allow like 10 points, and Kansas City's going to give up a 30 bomb easily.
I have a question.
Can't predict one.
I have a question,
Who would
Strong.
have predicted that the Jaguars would be?
I have a question, Strong.
You can't tell anything.
I have a question. What does defense win? What does offense win?
In 2021,
Defense wins championship.
in 2021,
championships.
that is not true.
Looking college.
Okay,
Did the defense win Kansas City? Did the defense win the Chiefs the Super Bowl in 2019? No.
No, but good defensive plays in the Super Bowl.
And when we look at here's another example.
Well, let's
In
think
Super
about
Bowl 53, or what was it, 52, Patriots against Eagles. Did the defense win the Eagles that Super Bowl? Tom Brady threw for 500 yards and
But
lost.
guess what? Patriots. Let's look at Patriots Rams Super Bowl. Can't remember which Super Bowl that was.
53.
Something like that.
Yeah, the defense won that one for sure.
Defense wins championship. Any Patriot.
Not every championship.
Look at this.
That used to be the saying, but I'm not a believer in that saying anymore.
With the Bills defense right now? Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so you're saying that Georgia's
No,
defense
they-
can't win them a championship?
Absolutely,
Georgia's
could.
defense
Absolutely.
is carrying them
Yeah,
right now.
absolutely.
But
they
that's
could.
just not how it works every time. Each and every time. Look, year
If
in,
you
year
don't have
out,
a defense, you can't win. Look at the Oklahoma Sooners
facts.
every single year.
obviously.
Look at Oklahoma every year.
Yeah, but if you have it's a quarterback league. It's a quarterback head coach pass rush league.
Okay, look at the
And-
Vikings.
What, they have an average quarterback and an average to
They
below average head
they
coach.
have an incredible offense, terrible defense.
Yeah.
Terrible defense. And
So
if
so
they
did
had
the
a
Chiefs
good
last year.
defense, yeah.
I thought they
And-
happened to make it
But
to the
it's
Super Bowl.
okay. But they don't have as good of a defense this year. They had a middle of the pack defense. That's what the Chiefs
They're
need.
figuring things out. They had a horrible first 8 weeks. And I told y'all that Green Bay game, even though it may not look pretty, they're playing against Jordan Love. They're going to beat a top team in the league, a 7-1 Packers team at the time. They're going to turn the corner on you. And as we're looking at it, this defense is looking more impressive. It's looking average, possibly above average. We'll see this week against Dallas. That'll be a good game for sure.
I also want to mention about the Chiefs, though, is that they're one of the most penalized teams in football. Like, whenever there's a play that
They're
they
not
need to stop,
disciplined.
like, all they do is jump off sides. All you see is Chandler Jones, or not Chandler Jones. Yeah, who I think it is. They're a big,
Chris.
Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, yeah. Like, you'll see him jump off sides. That team isn't disciplined. They're like one of the worst rated penalized teams
True.
on
You
defense.
think that Andy Reid doesn't discipline a team that's been to the
Obviously,
Super Bowl the past
obviously
year?
not.
They,
look
they're
at
the
look
most
at their
penalized team in
defense. It's
football.
horrible.
It's not. It's improving. I mean, it's allowed, 21 points in the past 2 weeks.
Okay, you get a third down stop, and then you get a pass interference for 50 yards.
That's not what happens every time,
Okay,
dude.
I'll hit you hypothetically again. Okay.
Hit me hypothetically.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Chiefs at Buffalo. Who you got in the AFC Championship?
I mean, it's a toss-up game.
It's
You
at-
can't really
if
predict
it's
anything.
at-
I
That's
got
not a
Kansas
toss-up.
City.
If it's
Wait,
at Buffalo,
there's no chance they beat them.
dog,
It's-
this fans
that's
are
game.
so rowdy, bro. There's no
Okay,
way.
okay.
They're
but
so rowdy that they
even-
lost to the Steelers at home.
Okay.
I think that even if the Buffaloes or not but even if the Bills play in Kansas City.
Yes,
they
we
can
saw the
beat 'em.
Bills whoop on the Chiefs earlier this year.
Yeah.
But that was the Chiefs. This is a different. It took the Chiefs 9 weeks to figure it out. And we're starting to see this team. I guarantee you they're going to end up at least with 11 or 12 wins. You can mark my words for that.
But they're gonna win out.
Hey, I think they have a great chance to. I mean, they were 6-4 in 2019, and then they won 9 straight, won the Super Bowl. What are they this year? 6-4. Either way, transitive property doesn't work in sports. That being said, this team has finally figured it out. On Sunday night, they looked like the same team they did last year. They look like a team that, in a very shaky AFC, that is led by the Titans as the clear favorite. And then after that, it's just a bunch of inconsistent offenses. Buffalo and Baltimore. And Kansas City's leading the AFC West, believe it or not, at this point. So when you look at it, this is a team that can definitely, I think they can beat Baltimore, Buffalo, or Tennessee. I don't care the location. They've been doing it consistently for the past 2 years. Now that they've found their identity this year, I don't see no reason they can't be a contender to win the AFC.
No, I mean they can definitely be a contender. I just don't think they're going to the Super Bowl.
I think they can make like a run, like a miracle run, if they just start going off. But that is so rare.
They have been for the past 2 years.
I don't see that. No, it's not been a miracle because they've had an MVP and Patrick Mahomes. They've had the best tight end.
That's my point. They have one of the best head coaches, the best quarterback in the league. I don't care what you
But the
say.
difference
the
is,
best tight end
their difference is their defense this year.
It's the same exact defense as last year.
But they're not performing.
Yes, it is. It's the same.
It's the same people, but it's not the same
outcome.
Do these people
but
just
worse.
do these people just change so much, like year in and year out? No, they're the
Yes,
same people playing the same positions.
You know how they change year in and year out? Look at Cooper Kupp last year. Look at him now. Yeah, Cooper Kupp last year was the second best receiver on their team.
Last year he was.
This year he's top 5 receiver.
Last year he was in a system offense with Jared Goff as quarterback. This year he has the leading passer throwing to him.
But the point is that yes, players can change.
Players
get
better and worse as the years go on.
And this Chiefs defense looks like crap right now.
They don't anymore. They did in the first 8 weeks, and now they've turned the corner, and you're going to continue to see it.
They beat Jordan Love.
And I hope that this week I prove myself wrong, and the Cowboys put a whooping on the Chiefs. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, the Cowboys are going to beat the.
I hope you're right. I really do.
Cowboys are going to beat them. Chargers are going to beat them.
I don't think
Denver
so.
beats them at the end of the year.
No, Denver's not beating the Chiefs.
They're going to lose a third game.
You want to hear a stat?
I honestly
Patrick Mahomes is 11-0 on the road against AFC West teams in his career.
Okay, he's about to go 11-2 because he's losing at the Chargers.
I'm marking your words for that, and not if you're wrong, when you're wrong. I'm bringing that up.
Okay.
All right, let's move on to some of the comments that y'all submitted. Let's see here. This person says the hot take. Okay, let's get ready. The Panthers are winning the NFC South, and Cam Newton wins comeback player. Cam wins comeback player of the year. Whoever said this, I hate to break it to you. I love Cam, and I hope he does great. But for Cam Newton to win comeback player of the year with what Dak Prescott has done in the first half of this year, and what Joe Burrow has also done the first half of this year, Cam Newton's going to have to be an MVP, a top caliber MVP for the next half of the season, which he's not. He's no hope hit comeback player of the year.
If the Panthers win the NFC South, I don't know what I'll do. That's the most shocking thing that I ever could happen.
There's no way.
Over the Bucs.
If the Panthers win the NFC South, we will take these stickers down right here and we will replace them with the biggest Carolina Panthers sticker you can see.
Oh, let's do it.
Another one. Bears in the top 10. No. Okay. All right. Let's just
moving on.
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk some NBA. There hasn't been a lot of drama, a lot of news since we've been on air the last time. But let's talk about the Warriors. Okay. So this is a team that has been going off this year. I believe they're 11-2 so far in the season.
Yes, they are.
Steph Curry's been playing like an MVP. Klay Thompson isn't back yet. So is this team just a shell of what they were from 2015 to 2019 when they went to 5 straight championships, or are they back for real?
I mean, I'm going to be honest with you. I think the Warriors are a great team. I think they're one of the best in their division, if not the best. But they are not anything compared to 2015 to 2019. Like that team with
2015 Warriors had Klay and Draymond. The only years
years they
had KD. They only had KD for 2 years.
I think it's fair.
Toronto. They won 2 and then lost.
It's fair to say 2015 and 2016 that team could probably compare to this team. But with the team,
I mean, it's
Curry's better now.
But yeah,
it's essentially the same.
Draymond's better now.
Can't say he's better.
No, Draymond's worse now.
Draymond's not worse.
Draymond is worse.
Draymond's not
Iguodala's old, but when you look at it, here's my take on it.
They have James.
I can continue to bring up the 25% rule and just say I don't know yet, but at the end of the day, with the way that Steph Curry is playing, I mean, we're seeing it on the record right now. And yes, a lot can change very quickly in the NBA. It's an 82-game season. We're not 25% of the way through the season. In my philosophy, we can't tell yet, right? But that being said, Steph Curry's the MVP right now. I just think it all comes down to what does Klay Thompson contribute when he comes back. We haven't seen him on the basketball
been
court
like a
in a
year,
live
bro.
game in 2 full seasons.
That's insane.
So the question, I can really phrase it as it coming down to Klay Thompson, is he what he used to be?
Look,
I think that's what it comes down to.
Look,
and we're not ready to answer that question.
Look, Curry MVP this year. He's gonna Curry's gonna win MVP
He's the favorite.
this year. He's got to he's gonna win MVP this year.
Probably.
Andrew Wiggins averaging 18 points.
pretty
Okay,
good.
Jordan Poole
Solid.
averaging 17 points. Those two keep averaging 18 and 17 points, which I don't think they will. But if they average something around that, Andrew Wiggins, Jordan Poole will be coming off the bench whenever
Yeah,
Klay
he's
gets
a
back. Jordan Poole 6-man.
Great.
I
bench
think
option.
it's-
James Wiseman when he comes back.
Yeah.
James Wiseman is going to be, I would
He's
say,
good. He's
arguably
great.
You know,
top 15 center in the NBA.
I think they missed that mid-range presence that Sean Livingston had coming off the bench.
Yeah.
But besides that,
They have it in Jordan Poole.
Nah, he's
he
more, he's
doesn't
more
have
of a
that same.
three-point
He doesn't have that
shooter, bro.
same mid-range pull as Sean Livingston, but he's a great 3-point shooter, and he's one of the more athletic kids in this
Andrew
league.
Wiggins.
Exactly. He's not.
He's not a mid-range shooter.
He's not, but it
he's
doesn't.
a
but
dunker.
This is a
listen,
different.
At the end of the
team.
day, this is very similar to what they used to be. Okay.
Whenever Klay gets back, this will be the 2015-2016 Warriors.
Again,
Yeah,
it comes down to
with
Klay
an
Thompson.
improved,
2016.
with a similar, maybe even matured / improved Curry.
But when it comes,
You don't see him taking the
when it
stupid
comes
shots anymore.
to 2017 and 18 and the teams with KD,
no, they're not as
There
good as
is
that
no shot that they're even close to
No,
that.
no.
No.
But
That's
I mean,
not
the,
what I'm saying. But
the
they're-
Warriors won their 2 rings with Kevin Durant.
I don't think
Durant.
it's-
They won their 2 rings 4-1 against the Cavs and then 4-0 against the Cavs.
Okay.
So even if they didn't have KD, I think they still win both those rings.
I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to compare this team to the team with KD. I think you take out 2017 through 2019. That was a super team. That was completely different. You can reasonably compare this to the 2015-2016 Warriors easily. I honestly think that this 2015-2016 Warriors team and this team, at the end of the day, if you look at it, this team could possibly
I think
be
it could
better.
be good. I think it could.
I think this team can maybe be
Because
better than
it's
that team.
a better Steph Curry. They've got Wiggins. They've
Okay,
got,
This is a better rounded Warriors team.
Yes.
They have everything you need. You know, they have a great center now, Draymond. I don't think he's better than what he was back in
No,
those days.
he's not.
He's definitely not.
He's
Iguodala's,
old.
he's what, 39 or something.
Whenever it
He goes
comes to
20.
showtime, Draymond shows up.
Whatever. Draymond or Iguodala's coming off the bench anyways. But this is a team that has a young, great athletic shooter in Jordan Poole. Andrew Wiggins, he's been playing phenomenal.
Wiseman.
this
He's playing
season.
good ball.
James Wiseman.
Yeah, again, James Wiseman. This is a team that really has the pieces. I mean, from the size, which we really have seen them lacking.
They have more pieces than they
I'm
did in
forgetting.
2015, 2016.
There's also I'm forgetting
when
his
Klay
name.
gets back, when James Wiseman gets back, they have more pieces than they did in 2015-16 to make it a more well-rounded team. In 2015-2016, they just had Curry, Klay, and Draymond. And although Draymond was in his prime, we haven't seen Klay come back. Can't say that.
Yeah.
But and we obviously Curry. They will, whenever everyone's healthy, they will have those 3 plus Wiseman, plus Wiggins, plus Poole. They have also Iguodala,
People are showing up on that
Otto
team.
Porter.
I'm forgetting his name, but he's like Gary
Moses
Payton's
Moody.
son. You know Gary Payton's son or whatever. You know his name.
Oh.
But he's been
Oh,
he's
yeah, Gary
been
Payton
a
the
lockdown
second.
defender, and I don't know if you've seen his Showtime dunks, but
Yeah,
that man is
he's athletic.
showing
He's
up,
as
bro.
athletic as it gets.
Yeah, he's been playing really well. Their whole team's just been on fire.
Yeah,
and if
it
that
really has.
continues through,
It's going to be interesting to see. I think that it really comes down to Klay Thompson. So
I mean, heck,
Yeah.
they even have Otto Porter. Otto Porter's been a solid bench.
yeah,
piece
it's
for
a
them.
really deep team.
It's a
It
deep
is,
team.
and I think
So-
that they're set up. This
So
year.
let's switch conferences here. The East has been a little shakier. We're seeing the Washington Wizards at the top of the East. Don't know what to think of that right now.
No.
Which teams are true contenders?
Wizards, you can't argue with me right now that they're contenders. They're 10-3.
They are not
They're
contenders.
10-3.
They're not.
No way, no chance that the Wizards are contenders.
We
right
agreeing
now.
on the 25% rule in this category?
Well,
No.
no, but
No, this
the
team's
Wiz-
just heated. Once
they're
they,
just
they're
That's
there's
what
they're gonna-
ebb and flow in the NBA.
gonna come down to earth. They're gonna come
what I'm
down
saying.
to
I
earth.
can reasonably say that the Bulls contenders, Nets contenders.
I had the Bulls, Nets, Heat, Bucks. Those
not
were
in
mine.
that order. I think right now.
Not in that order, but I'm just saying that those
I
are
think-
my 4.
I love the Bulls. I think they have great pieces. Don't think they're true contenders.
They're
Think they can win
contenders.
a playoff series,
They're
but
contenders.
that their best players It's Zach LaVine.
Bulls just
Zach
smoked
LaVine
the
is
Lakers.
good.
And I don't know if he can be a number one option on a championship team.
Zach LaVine.
Look at the championship teams in years past. Giannis was the number one option. LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Steph Curry,
Those are
or
Hall of
KD.
Famers.
That's my point. This team, Zach LaVine,
Those
is their number one. He's their number one option. It's like, is he gonna be the number one option on a contending
But
team? Don't think
sometimes-
so.
I'd argue that Giannis is
Even though
obviously
the
their number one
Suns-
player.
look at the Suns last year.
They-
They made it. They made it to the finals.
Chris Paul is better than Zach LaVine. Devin Booker's better than Zach.
No. Chris Paul is not better.
Yes,
than
he
Chris
is.
Zach
Paul's a
LaVine.
better. Okay, Chris Paul is better at dishing the ball.
They
They have Lonzo Ball dishing the ball. Zach LaVine's
They
not
have
the
Alex
one at point
Caruso
guard.
dishing the
They
ball.
have DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, Vucevic, Lonzo Ball, Caruso,
They have great
Derek
pieces.
Jones off
Don't
the
get
bench,
me wrong.
Patrick Williams. They have a deep team.
Their team's
and deep
good.
teams make deep playoff runs
Yeah.
because one injury won't affect them.
Next man up. That's how it works.
So you see a team like the Suns last year. That's a deep.
But you've
well-rounded
never
team.
seen recently a team win a championship without a top 5 player in the NBA.
We're not talking about if they're going to win the championship. We're
That's
saying
what a
if
contender
they're
is.
Do you
contender.
consider Devin Booker
Yeah, they're
a top
contender.
5
Not a contender
player?
to win.
contender to go to the NBA Finals, and
Do
they
you-
could win.
Look, do you consider Devin Booker
you
a
just
top 5 player?
contradicted yourself.
Do you consider Devin Booker a top 5 player?
No.
Exactly. So they don't need a top 5 player.
Do you
they don't.
Do you consider Chris Paul a top 5 player?
No.
Okay, so they don't need one. The Suns very easily could have won that series.
Yes, they choked. That's literally all it was. They should have
Anyone that can go to the finals is a contender.
Yeah.
100%. Because when
Listen,
you get
I
to
love
the
the
finals,
Bulls, but this is a very well-rounded roster. But again,
They don't need Zach LaVine to just score all of their points. This isn't like the Hawks with Trae Young. They have Vucevic being on isolations in the paint, shooting mid-ranges with his fadeaway game. They have Zach LaVine, and you know what he can do.
why
He
is
can shoot
everyone
and do
forgetting
everything.
DeMar DeRozan? He's their
I know,
top.
he's been
He's
going
their
off.
top scorer. right
DeMar
now.
is their
he's put
slasher,
up like
man.
75 in the past 2 games. I mean, he's incredible too.
He's been insane.
But I
That whole
don't.
team.
I think in a playoff series, I agree with Strong here. I think they're the worst contender out of them. I think the
Yeah,
real
they are.
contender.
So-
I think the big three
That's where-
is the Heat, Nets, and Bucks.
Yeah.
I have those 3.
Even though the Bucks are
and
struggling.
Add Philadelphia.
No.
They were the
no.
number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference until Embiid tested positive for COVID-19. This is a team that, with or without Ben Simmons, is going to make a run. They're going to be one of the top teams in the East. Tyrese Maxey adds an offensive element that Ben Simmons didn't have. And the
But they're-
locker room's more fresh without Ben Simmons. It's going to be interesting to see if Ben Simmons comes back or not, because they might need his presence defensively against these Giannis's and KDs.
To me,
But either way, I think they're a contender.
to me, this East comes down to which one of the Heat, Nets, and Bucks
Yeah.
doesn't draw each other. If the Heat draw the Nets in the playoffs,
They're going to wear each other out.
they're going to destroy each other, and the
Seven
Bucks will
games.
come in and swoop them up. If the Bucks draw the Nets, or however, whoever, it's between those three. Those three are the best 3 teams in the East, arguably the best 3 teams in basketball right now.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to those 3 teams who's going to win the East and potentially the NBA Finals. I think, but you can reasonably say the Bulls, with how they've looked so far this season, how their team's structured,
They deserve.
they have a chance. They have a chance in this East. They very well do.
Yeah, they're definitely capable, as we've seen. So I don't know why we back off on the Bulls and just say that they're not there.
I think that they are capable. Maybe I'll change my mind in a few weeks, but
Okay. That's fair.
fair.
That's fair.
I love their well-rounded talent. I love their starting 5. At the end of the day, it's one of the more consistent starting 5s in the league. But
Look, you gotta give it to them too. I mean, they completely.
I expected them to improve.
They turned around this.
yeah,
team
this
completely.
was probably the best free agency in basketball.
And this is a young core too. It's not like these are a bunch of old heads.
yeah,
like the
Lonzo
Lakers.
Ball is on a 4-year deal now. They're booked for the
4-year
future.
deal. He's like what, 23, 24?
Somewhere around that.
Something like that. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, they're definitely a contender right now. I say you can just throw out the Wizards. They're going to be like an 8.
Y'all
seed.
almost are convincing me to put them as contenders, but I'm gonna give it a few weeks. I'll give it to
Oh,
them.
come on.
I'm gonna give it a few weeks. All right, let's talk some college football now. A lot happened this weekend. One of the bigger stories is that Ohio State, they were on upset watch against Purdue, a team that had beat 2 top 3 teams this year. two top three, Michigan State and Iowa, earlier in the season. Beat them both by double digits. That being said, Ohio State comes out and puts 59 on them and did not show an ounce of disappointment, an ounce of doubt in their whooping of Purdue, especially offensively. That being said, assuming Georgia is your non-negotiable number one team in the nation, is Ohio State their biggest threat at number two?
Okay, I think I should start with this one.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Can't wait.
But there's asterisk on this. Yes, but they got to prove it these next 2 weeks.
That's
Yeah, big games.
This is why I'm saying yes, because Ohio State has passed the eye test. They've passed the eye test all year. They lost to Oregon. Oregon's number 3 in the country. They're number 3 in the country.
Okay.
And you just hear me out here. Their one loss against Oregon, okay? Yeah, you can say that's not a bad loss. You can't tell me that's a bad loss.
They should have won it though.
Alabama's loss is against Texas A&M. I'm not saying it's a bad loss. It's just not. It's a worse loss than Oregon, and they haven't passed the eye test. So right now, yes, Ohio State's second best team in the country, but they have to prove it against Michigan State and Michigan these next 2 weeks. These are the biggest 2 weeks of the year, clearly. If they win these next 2 games, they're 100% the second best team in this country.
Okay. So what I have to say, let me go first. Okay. Because I disagree.
Please go ahead, because I'm going to have a lot to say.
I strongly disagree. I think Bama deserves to be 2, and there's no question about it.
Tell me a statistic or a reason why.
All right.
Okay.
Let me go ahead.
No,
I have you.
No. Okay. Oh, let me go first.
Just pass me the baton for a second.
Okay.
He wants a statistic.
You get the baton.
I will provide him with the statistic.
Tell me.
Go ahead.
Okay. You need great offenses to win, unless you're Georgia at this point in the college football season, right?
Yeah.
Ohio State and Alabama both have that. You could say Ohio State has a slight edge and they have better receivers.
Definitely.
While Alabama has the better running game. Quarterback's debatable. I'd give it to Bama.
No, I'd definitely give it to C.J. Stroud. Are you kidding
Bryce
me?
Young is way better than C.J. Stroud.
Bryce Young is way
better. That being said,
better.
let's not get off on a tangent here. I don't know whose offense is better. So when I look at the defense here, Ohio State is giving up 20.1 points per game in the Big Ten, while Alabama is giving up 18.2 in the SEC. 2 less points in the best conference.
Yes.
They have better defense. They have the most talented. They have by far the best linebackers, by far the best safeties in college football.
Best linebackers. Come on, bro. N'Kobe Dean, Nolan Smith,
Will Anderson, To'o.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say by far. Georgia and Bama
have even linebacker.
That's fair.
So.
But we all know Georgia's the best defense in the country. So the fact that Bama's defense is even getting compared to Georgia just proves that they're a better defense than Ohio State.
Okay,
and so with that being said, this is what happened last year with Bama and Ohio State when they matched up. Very different rosters right now.
It's completely different rosters.
But it's like this. It's a similar thing here. They both have top offenses, but the thing is, Ohio State didn't have defense and Bama did.
Hear me out.
All right.
Okay. I think that Ohio State's offense, and let me finish before y'all start yelling at me.
All right.
I think Alabama's offense is a decent bit worse than Ohio State's offense because of their offensive line. Their offensive line is wretched besides Will
Anderson?
Yeah, no, their offensive line.
Oh.
Besides their left tackle.
Evan Neal.
Yes, Evan Neal. Alabama's offensive line
top 3 pick.
has struggled. It's been awful. It's been terrible. They've allowed 6 sacks to both Texas A&M and LSU. Texas A&M has a good front. LSU has maybe the worst defense in the SEC besides Vanderbilt. Don't count them as an SEC team.
They won a championship.
They're ACC.
But the thing is, Alabama's offensive line is such a weakness that if both of these teams went up against Georgia, this is who we're comparing them to. Or this is who, if both these teams went up against Georgia, Ohio State would have the better chance because their offensive line isn't as bad as Bama's. Georgia could easily get 10 sacks against Bama. They would not get that against Ohio State.
I don't.
The offensive line is their it's what's holding them that offense back.
It's definitely their.
Especially with Bryce Young, who is a young quarterback, little experience.
No, every quarterback in college is young, and I mean he sat behind Mac Jones in that system for a year.
But he makes stupid passes
Not
when he's
really.
under under pressure. He threw
Might
2
be a
picks
Heisman
against
My
LSU.
thing is, what's the best conference right now?
SEC always.
Is it close?
No.
Are you sure it's not close?
No.
Wait,
It's not
one
close.
more time. Is it close?
No.
Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure you know that. So my thing is that every SEC team, their talent levels of each SEC team does not stand to the Big Ten. Like they're like whenever SEC teams play, the level of talent is a lot better than the Big Ten.
I think you're right, but you know what? I think if Alabama matched up with Michigan or Michigan State right now, they'd lose.
No. And you made me mad about the Texas A&M loss, okay? And I know this is start of season and this is just a ranking, but Texas A&M
And look at Oregon.
Texas A&M at the start of the season was ranked number 5. That team has skill. That team has talent. It's just that the SEC has so many good teams.
No, they lost to Oregon, who's number 3 in the country, above them.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, Oregon's a good team.
Honestly, Oregon and A&M play.
Oregon wins.
I would have A&M.
Exactly.
No, A&M lost to Ole Miss.
We played this game, but at the end of the day, the SEC is just more dominant. The reason that A&M's ranked so low is because they're playing SEC teams.
Look, I have a schedule.
Oregon and the SEC is a 8-4, maybe 9-3 team.
It took me a while to look this up, but I have something about the strength of schedules and just the ranks of the top 25 teams that they've played, like AP top 25 teams that like have been there.
Okay.
Florida has been ranked 10th. Miami's been ranked 14th. Ole Miss has been ranked 10th. Texas A&M has been ranked
Y'all beat
5.
Florida by 2.
Tennessee has been ranked 23. LSU has been ranked 16th. Now, Ohio State, their top 25 teams that have been in the top 25 are Oregon 3, Penn State 4, and Purdue 19. They have 3 top 25 teams that they've played.
2-1.
And then
And
Bama is 5-1 against
5-1.
top 25 teams. And I'd argue that SEC teams are a lot tougher than these Big Ten teams.
I mean, A&M is more talented than Oregon on the offensive side of the ball. I don't mean to go off on too much of a tangent here, but I mean they both had horrible defensive games, respectively. Bama against A&M, Ohio State against Oregon. A&M has arguably the best running back in college football, and Isaiah Spiller, the best tight end, and Jaden Whitemeyer, or whatever you say his name is.
Whitemeyer.
Number 85. What is his name? Arian Smith, number 10. One of the better receivers in college football. This is a very talented team.
They were unranked when they beat us.
Arian Smith plays for Georgia.
Look.
Arian Smith, what's his...
They were
I know what you
they
mean.
were unranked when they beat us, but that doesn't mean they're a bad team.
Okay.
Do you think Purdue's a bad
Okay.
team? Do you think Purdue's a bad team?
No.
They were unranked when they beat. I'm forgetting the first.
Purdue's
team
also
they beat.
beaten top 5 teams.
Yeah, they
You know how many top 5 teams Bama's beaten? 0.
they haven't. You're right. They haven't.
0.
And there's...
And guess what? I honestly don't know if y'all are going to beat Auburn.
Bro.
I honestly don't know if y'all are going to beat Auburn. Y'all haven't... My thing is, everyone talks up Bama saying how good they are, how great they are this season.
They're not.
They haven't proven it. They haven't proven anything
I
to
agree,
show that
but
they're
listen,
great.
they
beat Florida by 2. Georgia beat Florida by 27. Okay? Or 24, sorry.
Are we talking about Georgia?
No, but I'm just saying.
Are we talking about Georgia?
Florida
We're
barely...
talking-
Shush.
Okay.
Florida barely beat Samford.
I don't care.
Y'all beat them by 2.
Okay. Would
Okay.
you rather be more? Let's say you're a player on one of those teams. Are you more hype about playing Samford or trying to beat number 2 or number 1 at the
I don't
time?
care how hyped you
Bama.
are.
You're hyped to beat Bama. That's what
care how
everyone
hyped you are.
wants. Everyone wants to beat Bama.
All right.
Everyone gives us their best shot, and it's not even
Yeah, and they
close.
give Ohio
So,
State their best shot too. Are you
here's
kidding
my
me?
thing.
Ohio State's number 4 in the country.
But they've played Penn State and Purdue and Oregon.
The way
They
that the
haven't
college
played anyone
football
else.
committee decides who is the best team in the country, like who's better than who in the rankings, based off 2 things: resume and talent. Resume is very similar for both these teams. Alabama, don't have too much impressive wins. Ohio State, not too much impressive wins. They each had 1 ugly loss. So then it comes down to the talent side of it, okay? They both have great offenses, and to my point earlier, Bama's defense is just much more superior than Ohio State.
Yes.
That's what it comes down to. It comes to pure talent.
Yes.
I don't think you can reasonably say that.
Say that
Ohio State is better.
The only position Ohio State is better than Alabama at is wide receiver.
And it's close because
close.
Well, I mean, it's not. I mean,
It's
obviously, but we
It's
we still have a great wide receiver core.
Mechie's not that good.
He's pretty.
He's pretty good.
He's
But
not.
He's no Garrett Wilson or Chris Olave.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's not. He doesn't.
And Jackson
Yeah.
Smith and Jigba has been outstanding the past few weeks.
Of course, yeah, of course. But you also have to think that we're playing SEC teams and they're playing Big Ten teams.
But I have a question. Do you think that if Bama loses in the SEC championship, that they will be in the playoffs?
No, we won't. Of course.
Now,
Not
the
unless
thing is
something
that you know why that
drastic
is?
happens.
You know why that is? It's because y'all don't have the quality wins to prove that y'all should be in the playoffs.
No, it's just that we'd be 2 and I don't know what the interseason.
Y'all have 2 losses and y'all don't
11 and
have
2
the
or whatever.
quality wins. to
We'd be
prove it.
11
thing,
and 2, and other teams would
As
be
a
11 and 1.
Bulldogs fan, this is what Alabama could deal with this year if they lose the SEC championship, and they won't be in. This what Georgia's dealt with for the past 3 years. We were one of the 4 best teams in college football. We just didn't make the playoffs because we are in the best conference, right? So you're bound to lose one in the regular season, and then when you lose to Alabama or LSU in the SEC championship, a 2-loss non-conference championship team isn't going to get in there, even if you're a top 4 team. So even if Alabama doesn't make the playoffs, if they lose to Georgia in the SEC championship, you can't say they're not a top. They're not the second best team because
Yes, you can.
you can't.
No.
Yes, you can.
No.
Because a lot of the times the 2 best teams happen to play in the SEC. I mean,
Yeah,
in
I
2017,
agree with that, but
They
I
are.
don't think this year's Alabama team is the same
I don't
as
either.
previous years.
And I caught
It's
that early.
not. It's
I caught
not.
that early with the eye test.
It's definitely not the same, but that doesn't mean that we're not
But
capable.
if you look at them
They're-
play and you watch the LSU game and you watch these other games where they've struggled against teams that the second best team in the country shouldn't struggle with, then
Dog, no.
how can you say that they're the second best team in the country? Is it because they look like the second best team in the country, or because everyone else doesn't look like the second best team?
We're in the
country?
SEC, Taylor.
I don't care that you're in
SEC, man. All these teams are good. Every team is gonna. Okay, look. I think that almost every team in the SEC
Okay.
would be a top 25 team if they played in the Big Ten. Would you argue against me? Florida would be a top 10, or not top 10, but
they
they'd be a
wouldn't.
top 25 team.
No, I don't know if
And-
Florida can beat Stanford right now. I don't.
Okay.
Yes, they could.
They literally had
Florida
a party in the
aside.
locker room for beating Stanford, so I don't know if
Hey, you gotta take what you get.
We
when you're
beat
from.
Ole Miss. That's a quality win. I don't know what Ole Miss has a great
Ole
quarterback.
Miss, that's your only
Okay.
quality win.
This is. We're gonna see this resolve in the next few weeks. When Alabama
when Bama
and Ohio
loses.
State have some true tests. So we're going to come back to that for sure in
How
weeks
about
ahead.
this? If Ohio
Eli.
State wins the next 2 weeks, that's fair to say. But they have to beat Michigan and Michigan
I think
State
they will.
first. Okay, we'll see.
So this person, we're going to react to some of y'all's comments. This person says that Michigan is beating Ohio State
Thank you.
and Bama.
Oh. Don't like you now. Yeah, you can leave. You can
Michigan
leave.
is not a more talented team than either of those. They have a first-round edge rusher in Aiden Hutchinson, but besides that, they lost their number 1 receiver in their first game. They definitely don't have the quarterback, definitely don't have the running game or ability to take off the top off an opposing defense. Michigan is overrated in my opinion. They're ranked way too high. I don't know how they're ahead of Michigan State. The same record. We've talked about this a million times, and they have the head-to-head loss.
Yeah.
Can we all agree that Michigan would not be able to beat Ohio State or Bama?
No.
I
mean,
think they
I
could
think-
probably beat Bama, honestly, and Ohio State. I think it can be both of them. I think anything can happen, honestly. Like
It is college football.
It's college football,
Okay.
and no one looks like the clear second best team in the
It's
country.
true. That
right
is true.
now.
Everyone's
Everyone-
beating up on each other except Georgia, so who knows?
Georgia's the only team that I could say that could sweep the table with everyone. Everyone else is like a
You're right.
toss up.
All right.
I have a question though. This doesn't relate, but do you think Bama has a chance to beat Georgia? Do you think they have a chance?
Anyone
I'm not
has a
saying
chance.
50-50, but I'm saying does Bama have a solid chance to beat Georgia?
Of course, they have a chance.
Okay, so this person,
I don't think they will.
we said that the SEC is the most dominant conference by far in college football. This person says that the Big Ten is close to the SEC this year. Penn State, Michigan State, and Ohio State can compare to the SEC's top teams. And let me just go off and say that is not true. Their rankings may deceive you since they have the 4th, the 6th, and the 7th best team. And they put Penn State in here. Just get them out of the picture.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State cannot compare to the top 3 teams in the SEC.
Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M.
While they are ranked this high, this happens every year. It's because these Big Ten teams
don't play anyone.
They beat up on each other.
They play Rutgers, Maryland, Indiana, Nebraska,
nobody.
Tulsa.
Michigan
Akron,
in the SEC is
Minnesota.
9-3. Michigan State in the SEC is 9-3. In the SEC is 9-3. Ohio State in the SEC,
don't know,
10-2, maybe 11-1.
Yeah,
These rankings are high, and this happens year in or year out, and it's proved year in and year out that their rankings are deceived by the conference they play in. We all agree there.
Yes.
All right. Let's talk about a team that had high expectations going into the year, Oklahoma. They took their first loss. They had multiple near losses to lesser opponents earlier in the year, and they finally got exposed by Baylor. What in the world went wrong with Oklahoma this year?
They went up 7-0, and then
they switched quarterbacks.
They benched Caleb Wilson, and then they Williams, and then they put in, I'm forgetting what his name is, Spencer Rattler. Yeah, like if you're doing that, you're pretty down bad. So
all right,
that's all I'm saying.
I actually have the same exact.
As well as our defense can't play football down the stretch. After one half, they just
I have the same philosophies as y'all. The great John Madden once said, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you actually have none. And that is a saying that I completely agree with. You have to have your guy. You can't have 2 quarterbacks rotating in and out. You can't win a championship with 2 quarterbacks.
Yep.
Alabama in 2017 is the one exception. That being said, I do not like how they handle this quarterback situation. You benched Spencer Rattler midseason. That's fine. He was not playing his best football. Yeah. Caleb Williams comes in against.
Stick with Caleb Williams.
That's what I'm saying.
Why are you
Caleb is so
Caleb Williams.
Caleb is good.
Caleb Williams went off
Caleb
against Texas, led them to like 3 touchdowns and almost a perfect passer rating in the second half for a comeback win for Oklahoma.
Crazy. That was a big comeback.
That being said, then he started struggling a little bit against Baylor, and then you pull him for Spencer Rattler.
It's too
That's
early
not how you manage your quarterback situation.
That's just gonna cause.
You can't continue to pass the baton from one guy to another. You have to find your guy and stick to him. Yeah. And again, on the defensive side of the ball, they are missing multiple starters in their secondary with key injuries, and that was really exposed against Baylor. But that being said, the way they handled their quarterback situation,
it was atrocious. Why would you switch a quarterback mid-game? That's the one position
you need.
Whenever you like you never see Georgia unless they're blowing out a team or any team that has 2 quarterbacks that are similar in talent. Switch quarterback mid-game. Yeah. You can do that week to week, I'd say even. But if you're gonna start with a quarterback, you have to finish with them because the team
unless the game
around.
Is out of reach in either direction.
Exactly. You can't switch quarterbacks. That's honestly what ruined the game. I'll even give it to their defense. Their defense played a solid 3 quarters of football.
They did.
They
collapsed in the 4th quarter, but
I'm going to go off on a tangent here. That's what went wrong with the Philadelphia Eagles last year. Carson Wentz was just mentally deterred when they drafted Jalen Hurts in the 2nd round, and they kept giving him more and more snaps each week. And eventually, Jalen Hurts was throwing 5 to 10 passes a week while Carson Wentz was technically the starting quarterback. And that just got in his head. You can't run 2 quarterbacks in the same offense.
And that's what was the issue with Aaron Rodgers last year too. At the start, is that Jordan Love got drafted, and then all this drama happened. They're like, why would they do this? Aaron Rodgers still in his prime, and then Aaron Rodgers got in his head. He played a bad first half of the year.
Yeah,
you can't do this, and that was completely a coaching mishap. They should have never lost that game. When an Oklahoma defense plays that good, you should never lose because their offense is so unbelievable normally that they can drop 50 points on anyone that's not an SEC school.
Yeah, and not only does it do that, but imagine if you're a player and you're listening to this one quarterback for the first half of a game, and then they just mix it up on you at the split second. A team just can't physically handle that, you know.
Yeah, I mean it was unbelievable. I can't. Watching that game, it annoyed me.
Yeah, my national championship predictions before the year were both Georgia and Oklahoma because
Before you had Georgia?
Before the season, I had Georgia,
Wow.
Oklahoma.
That's impressive.
Because
Not bad.
Oklahoma, of the top 5 teams from last season, were losing the least amount of starters, respectively, on each side of the ball.
Yeah.
They were a young, talented team in the secondary. I thought this was going to be a monstrous year for Spencer Rattler. He was my pick for Heisman. And boy, oh boy, I will admit that I was wrong. That being said, Caleb Williams, even with whoever's the quarterback for Oklahoma and Lincoln Riley's system, it doesn't matter. They should be able to contend for the playoffs. And how they looked against Baylor, they're done. I mean, simply, I can't see a way that they get in.
Wait till next year.
Yep, whoever the quarterback is.
Lincoln
All right, we're going to
Riley's
respond to a few more comments here. This person says that Cincinnati is overrated. Agreed.
Big facts.
They've played no one except for Notre Dame, and yet they are, what, number 5?
5.
Yeah.
Now, if they were
I
beating,
can see it, but
their opponents more handily, I could put them in the playoffs, but especially with that quality win over Notre Dame. But the way that they've been struggling with some of these non-Power 5 teams,
Yeah, I'd like to see them play some teams in the SEC. Like, imagine if they.
oh, they'd die. They'd be a 3-4 loss
like
team.
even a Kentucky or a Tennessee,
Just from the wear and tear. The thing about the SEC is every single week it's just brutal, and it's the wear and tear.
It takes your guys
depth.
4 days to recover.
Yeah.
After each game. All right.
It's not good.
This person says the rankings should be number 1 Georgia, 2 Ohio State, 3 Bama, 4 Michigan State.
No, 4
Michigan, 5 Michigan State, 6 Oregon.
I think that is false. I don't think you could justifiably put Oregon above Ohio State. Ohio State or Oregon. I mean,
and
it's just such a weird ranking.
And you can't put Michigan over
Michigan
State.
If you're gonna put Ohio State at 2, I would put Oregon at 2, and then you'd have to put Ohio State at 3, and then you can't drop Bama to 4. So like, that's a messed up ranking. I don't see that. But we could see.
But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the committee goes to it as inconsistent as they've been.
Yeah, but the thing is, it wouldn't shock me after this week if Ohio State jumps to 2. After they beat.
I don't think they're going to leapfrog Oregon until Oregon loses or doesn't look impressive.
They will after they beat Michigan State. If they beat Michigan State, they will definitely.
If they cover the spread of 19, jeez, that's a big spread.
It's a 19 spread?
19
no
spread.
way. Really?
19 spread.
Oh, well, it is at Ohio State. It is at Ohio State.
It is at Ohio State.
But the thing is, even if they scrape it out against Michigan State, I think they would leapfrog them over Bama and Oregon.
So
because of strength of schedule.
Here's a hypothetical. Say Ohio State and Oregon both win out, and Georgia beats Bama in the SEC championship. We're seeing a 2-3 rematch between Oregon and Ohio State. I'm all for it.
Game.
That would be awesome.
And you got Georgia versus Cincinnati, and
I want to see that Cincinnati versus Georgia.
I could see that being a classic blowout. But yeah.
All right.
Should do it for this
No more
episode.
comments. Yeah, it was a good episode. Yeah. We would like to give another thanks to our wonderful sponsor, Volta. Yep. We would like to thank the sponsor of our show, Volta Wireless. It is a smartphone, not a tracking device. Take back your privacy with Volta. Everything you need in just one subscription. Learn more at voltawireless.com. Again, that's VOLTA wireless.com. All right, good stuff, boys. Make sure to go check us out on all of our social medias. We will be uploading clips from this in case you missed any of the action on our social medias or podcast platforms. So
like and subscribe down below.
Exactly.
Share with your friends, boys.
Share, spread the word. Thank you all guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.